Y'all, y'all, y'all ready for this? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome to Kempner Sports, and I want to welcome you to the show and minor league recap. Before we get into that, let's just talk about the NFL, because as we know, every single week is absolutely crazy and nuts. And so this week was no different. In fact, this one was like making me wonder, are quarterbacks more valuable this year than any time than we've ever seen? Like, this is crazy, and what a game! Colts and Ravens, Monday Night Football. What a thriller, right? Like, there were so many games. Packers, Bengals, 5 missed field goals, and like there was just game after game of all these amazing things. And so everyone wants to talk about Lamar Jackson and the the Ravens coming back, beating the Colts, and he had this monster week, 41 points. And ended up winning week for Vic's Doggy Daycare, which is amazing. And then, but you know what? He wasn't the highest scoring person this week. Justin Herbert, off of Peter Day's LA Chargers, man alive. He was a monster. 4 touchdowns. He ran in a touchdown for almost 400 yards, like 42 fantasy, almost 43 fantasy points from one player, and Uncle Rico has him in the show. So there's things like, think about it. If you think about all the players that had monster weeks, you can talk about not only Brady and Josh Allen finally looked good. Derrick Henry had 31 points. Jonathan Taylor, hello, welcome to fantasy football. You've been terrible all year. Speaking of terrible, Mark Andrews has been horrific this year, and then gets 30 fantasy points. Actually, it was 30.7 fantasy points this week. So these just skew the numbers. So when you're looking at fantasy points for tight ends, all of a sudden Mark Andrews is amazing. He had one great week and terrible for the rest. Devonte Adams had 206 yards receiving and 1 touchdown, and was the 10th best fantasy option this week. It was absolutely crazy. Let's just dive in to some of the matchups. So we're going to start right now with minor league, okay? I want to start with minor league because we always start with a show, and we know the show's amazing and all that kind of stuff. Let's go to minor league, where my team, Mr. Irrelevant, doesn't matter if I win or lose, doesn't matter. I'm not going up. Okay, think about this. I am 0-5. I don't think I've ever been 0-5 in my life, but I don't mind being 0-5. I just mind being 0-5 when I have this team. Look at this roster. How is this roster 0-5? Like, think about it for a moment, everyone. I don't even know what to do. I don't know what to, like, this is as good as it really gets. I can't make a trade that anyone's going to give me a good deal for, so this is it, and I'm just going to ride it. I'm actually still predicted to come 8th, and when you're at this bottom of the barrel, this is what it's like. So I ended up losing in week 5, the Hogs, 127. I had 116 fantasy points and still lost, and the reason why is because, and you'll see it on the screen bar, of course, he has Lamar Jackson, and other than that, I would have won. Even if Lamar had an average week or above average week, I still would have won. But anyways, Beach Whales comes in, number 1 team in the league this week, 150 points. Let's just look at that real quick. Josh Allen, Chase, Elliott, Eckler, who had a monster week. Henderson had a good Thursday night against the Seahawks, and then Buffalo was 17 points. I mean, beast mode. You had a decent week, but you can't do anything about that. Absolutely nothing about that. Ed's disc golf, 134 to 66. You had the blowout of the week over Bo Knows. Peter, what is going on in our world? You are 9th. I'm 10th. Like, think about that for a moment. 67.44 blowout Oh my goodness, that was insane. Basically, everyone on Peter's team just was terrible. Barkley going down didn't help. Even like Kelsey didn't. I mean, played pretty good. Yeah, it was just horrific. And Ed's team had Herbert, so yeah, it's over already before it even starts. Big upset. Tatanka moves into third place with a huge win over Hooked on a Theon. And, Sean, well done, buddy. Well done. Just a good average week from everyone until you get to Mark Andrews and Mike Williams, who's actually the 5th highest receiving wide receiver in the game, which is nuts. Who would have ever thought after week 5 Mike Williams would be number 5? And so that was a monster game, even though Hooked on a Thielen had Tom Brady, who had 37 fantasy points. That's nuts. And then, of course, John's Vikes gets destroyed. Worst week of the I don't know, might even be the season. 56 points. That's pretty bad. Nothing went well for him. Randy, your Saints needed the big win to move into 7th, and you had some good players. 115 points. Mike Evans finally did something for you. Jonathan Taylor finally did something for you. But John's team was terrible. If you look at this, Singletary awful. Collins was okay. DJ Moore, who's been having a good year, just failed you. Los Angeles Chargers against Cleveland, -3. Oh, that hurts. But you know what hurts the most? Patrick Mahomes, not a great day. And so when that happens, I mean, the week before, I think he had 5 touchdowns, and he does this. So what can you do? So that is minor league. Crazy stuff going on. Beached Whales and Ed's Disc Golf, our first place with 4-1 records, and then it's a log jam from 2 till 6 here, and then the bottom end is Saints, John's Vikes, Bo Knows, and of course me, 0-5. Okay, let's move over to the show, and this is just absolute craziness. Okay, so John's Vikes, Vic's Doggy Day Care, John's team. Different John, of course. He pulls out the come-behind victory with the Ravens quarterback, Lamar Jackson. He was pumped. He was texting me saying, "Are you watching this?" Knocking off Dr. Z, champ Dr. Z of all people. The guy who has Kamara and Henry, and still ends up losing a 8-pointer. That was a barn burner. What a great matchup. And whoa, just wait. This just in. Oh my goodness. Hit the sirens, people. Sheepdog got out of the cellar. He not only got a win, he came from behind with Jonathan Taylor, beat me of all people. What is going on with me losing to these Colts and Ravens? And he gets his first victory, jumps from 0-4 to 1-4, goes to 9th place. He's almost on the cusp of 8. I'm only 2-3. I'm number 8 right now. And so that was nuts. Congratulations, Brian, on the big victory. I told you were going to beat me this week. You kept talking it down. But trust me, your team is absolutely stacked. And I think his team is now the one that you need to be. You can't take for granted this team with that big trade to get Metcalf, but here's the thing, you also traded away, though, Hunt and Chase, who had monster weeks. If you had kept them, you would have had even more points, but hindsight 2020, you got your Seahawk in Metcalf, and I can't remember who else you got, but I think he got injured, so let's just look at it, just way better to do that. And so Josh Allen had 36 fantasy points, but you had also... I don't think he played. That's what it was. It was Carson. He's not, and he's actually might be injured for a while. So that's a tough one. Okay, let's go to something where I was absolutely, I'm floored with. Let's go to Noah's Judge Judy. And my goodness, this team was firing on all cylinders, as you can see right here, right? If you look at this, Adams went off. Mike Evans finally did something for him. Your running backs were incredible. But Sherlock Mahomes, oh my goodness, maybe sound the warning bells here. This was ugly and ugly fast. 79-127. What a monster blowout. Mahomes stunk for you. Edwards, Elaire, sorry. He got injured, so he's out and he's on IR. It was just ugly from the start to the finish for you. And you're moving down to 6 there, and Noah's team moves up to number 4. Then we get to a big matchup where Uncle Rico moves into first place or continues in first place, can't remember which one, 118 over Ruben's Purple People Eaters, 118-104. And, of course, he had Justin Herbert, the difference maker. Like, this is the difference in fantasy football. You have a guy who scores 43 fantasy points, you're probably going to win the week. And that's exactly what happened there. The rest of his team was pretty good. I mean, Robinson played well, but, Madison, what a great pickup for you because Cook is out. Monster week. But if you look at it, Ruben, that trade really set you to win this week. Chase had 21, almost 22 points. Hunt had almost 21 points. But what failed you was the guy who you didn't think was going to fail you, and that's Kyle Murray. Kyle Murray should not be failing anyone. He's an absolute stud, but had a difficult time against that San Francisco defense. So here's what's happening in the show, everyone. This is what's going on. I hope that you're having a great year. I don't know about you, but I'm open up for deals. If you want to make a trade, I'm open. I like my team a lot. Getting Cooper Kupp in that trade, I was pretty pumped about that. Just didn't really do what I was hoping to. I should have started Fournette, and I would have won this week, but hindsight 2020 is always the thing in fantasy. By the way, I'm wearing my Brandon Jacobs jersey. Brandon Jacobs won me my first championship in the show, and he had a monster week. I think he had 3 touchdowns in the championship game to let me win it. Or maybe it was 4. Actually, I think it was 4 because D'Angelo Williams had 3, and I was playing Monty who had that. Anyways, long story. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate you guys. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you later.